Hey guys, Carrie here. Tonight I wanted to talk to you about meth and madness. Those two seem to go hand in hand. And I just had some thoughts that I wanted to share on my experience with that. And I hope that it really helps somebody else out there, because I know that people are going to be going through this and they're going to be looking for answers. And I think I've got a few that will help y'all. So, okay, my journey with meth began at 14. And I was impressionable. I was in a lot of pain. I was in pain from losing my parents. Both of my parents died. And I was adopted by my aunt, and that relationship was very abusive. So all of the other stuff that happened to me was just on top of the trauma of living with, or of losing my parents. So it was just kind of one thing after another with that, the pain. And so by the age of 14, I was visiting with my aunt and my cousin, and they, and my mom was there, and my aunt's boyfriend was there. Well, everybody except me and my aunt's boyfriend left, and they went to go get some food or something, and he said, "Hey, you want to try something cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so he was like, "Well, come here." And he went and he pulled out this baggie of pink crystals, and I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" And he chopped me up a line of meth. So that was, and when I did it, I was like, whoa, I just didn't feel any pain anymore. I felt invincible. But you have to excuse me, there's a dog out there. It never fails. Every video I'm like, oh, there's a dog. But yeah, when I did that first little bit, I was like, wow, nothing can touch me when I feel like this. And it actually got pretty creepy, because a little bit later on, everybody was asleep and I'm wide awake. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'd like a little bit more of that. So I go in there and I nudge him. I'm like, hey, can I have a little bit more of that? And he puts his hand on my leg. He's like, what do you do for me? And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. And I left the room. I was like, ooh, that's weird. So that was my introduction to meth. And it really did mask my pain very well. And that's what I think a lot of people are out there are looking for with drugs and alcohol, is they have no outlet. They have no tools for actually handling their pain. So they turn to those things for that reason. And I did use occasionally from, I'd say, about 16 to the age of like 23. I would use like every other month, and then I would stop for a year or a few months, and then I would do it again. It really didn't seem like that big of a deal, but I'm wondering if they've now, I really believe that the stuff that they've got now is super dope. It's just so strong. It's crazy. Like, it's not the same as it was. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like they've put more stuff in it that make it even more addictive than it was, to keep people hooked on the shit. I did end up in a series of abusive relationships, because, and I won't really get into too much of that here, but yeah, I was still in so much pain, and I was afraid to be alone. So I mean, I just didn't want to be alone. I was scared to do that. I mean, being alone and really reflecting on yourself, that's just one of the scariest things you can do. And I had a fear of being alone, so I would stay in a relationship even though it was abusive, just because I didn't want to feel the pain of ending that relationship. So I was running from my own shadow, basically. And in 2013, my relationship that I was in ended in it was a real doozy. And it just kind of sent me, that and some other things just sent me in a downward spiral. And I used again, and I got hooked really bad that time. So I knew that there was something really weird going on. You know, I was raised religious, Southern Baptist, and my mother's still religious, very much so. And I started researching while I would be high. I would read in the Bible, and I would, I would research all these things online and really jumped down this rabbit hole, it seemed. And I'm I was pushing it down everybody's face. I was on Facebook, trying to debunk the Bible and this and that. And I'd be high while doing it. So it got pretty bad. I mean, it just really did. I alienated a lot of people that way. So yeah, I jumped down that rabbit hole and the UFO theories and things like that, because I was do people really think this is all there is? And I was completely high and up in outer space. It got really messy for about 2 years there. And then I was really strung out. I mean, I was using the needle. I had a friend introduced me to that, and I was like, whoa, that's even better. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Yeah, and so in May of 2015, I reached a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be this way. I want to get better. And I left my hometown, and I moved about an hour away, and I wanted to get clean. And I was there, I think, maybe 2 weeks, and I ended up relapsing again while I was there. But and I had been actually sober maybe a week, a few days, and things got really kind of ugly. And if you really want to know the details of this part of it, it's in a playlist on my channel called The Awakening, and I go into great detail about exactly what happened. So see that if you really want to know the gory details of that. But I had no buffers. What the meth does is it burns out all of your filters in your brain and leaves you wide open for everything. And people don't really, I didn't know that. I had no idea that I was burning out my filters, what I was doing to myself. Excuse me. So, when I woke up, I said a prayer, okay? I said a prayer sometime towards the end of May, and it might have been early June 1st, because I think I ended up going to the mental institution on June 9th, I believe. And yeah, I said a prayer, and I really meant it. I need help. I reached out, I asked, and I sent it to this Bible study place that I'd been going online to, this Bible study online thing, and doing this app, whatever it was. So I got their email address, and I sent a prayer request to them, and I was bawling. I hadn't prayed in so long. But that same day is when my mind just went whew, and all of a sudden it was like a light was on the top of my head. I had and schizophrenia does run in my family, so I mean that means that I've got a connection. I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but Ayla Starr does a video called The Higher Perspective on Schizophrenia, where it talks about the people with schizophrenia is because they have a large connection, like a T1 connector to the other side. Well, if that runs in my family and I have that, and I was doing the meth and burned all my buffers out whenever I sent that prayer, my guides and my soul was like, okay, she's ready. Let's wake her up. I wanted to be woke up and enlightened and have my, world changed. Well, I got it. I got it. Because I was having visions like I had never imagined. I had a black feline being presence that was communicating with me. I thought I was a mermaid. I thought I was a vampire. And then I'm like, okay, well, my dog's a dragon. This cat over here is a ninja. This person is really that person. Oh, if I take my contacts out of my eyes, I'll be able to see better. I thought we were underwater. I thought we were on a ship, a living ship. And I was the captain of the ship. Just all kinds of shit started going through my head, and it was like these foreign thoughts just going through my head. And I tell you what, I have never been more scared in my life, ever. And this happened. It was like I was going in and out of consciousness. Like I would just wake up, and all of a sudden I'm like looking around. How did I get here? What the hell is going on? Yeah, my dog was a dragon. I had no idea about lyrans and, feline beings and dragon beings, and I had no idea about any of this stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm just thinking all these things, and I really lost it. My friends were just going crazy, not knowing how to help me. But all of that is in the Awakening videos, if you'd like to take a look at that. But I just had no clue what the hell was happening, and neither did they. So after 6 days of that, they finally took me to the mental institution. And the lady asked me, what's your social security number? And I said, 0. Boobies. And she's like, oh, okay, you come back with me. And then they give you medicine. I was there for 6 weeks. They give you medicine that closes that line of communication, which I guess was a good thing at that point, because I had blown everything so wide open. So my session with Ayla, I had a session with her, Ayla Starr, on the 4th. And she calls in your guides and communicates to you things about that you need to hear, things that help you with your messages from your guides. Basically, the only thing I could get from my guides, because I really don't feel like I was ready, was my guide's name is Samuel. And then he pointed to his head like this. He didn't do the crazy thing. He just pointed to his head. Like there's wires up here that are completely misfiring. And that's when Ayla told me that I burned up all my filters. And, excuse me. But so I wanted to share with you that this kind of thing, if you want help, you can get it. You can fix this. So she gave me some ideas of what to do, and I'm going to do it. I've already started drinking distilled water because The distilled water, I've done research on it before. There's a video by Andrew Norton Weber, I believe. It's pretty long, but if you want to know how to fix yourself, isn't it worth taking the time to do it? To do the research? But anyway, the distilled water, it basically, it pulls out all of the inorganic, the volatile inorganic, volatile organic compounds that are in your body, and it just kind of helps detox all of that stuff away. The aluminum, all of the stuff, and meth has a lot of aluminum in it, and aluminum actually acts as a receptor. So you're just way up off in outer space, and you think you're normal, and really you're just going fucking crazy, and everybody's like, wow, this person needs to be committed. But yeah, so the distilled water. Okay, and then there is something called, hold on, let me get my phone so I can tell you. I've got this stuff open. Okay, it is, the first thing she said was a distilled water, and then next is something called C60, and I believe it doesn't exactly say what it is, but I think it's vitamin C or something like that. Like very, very powerful. I could be wrong, but the website I'm on is c60purplepower.com. It's kind of expensive, but I'm going to order this when I can, and start taking this, trying to detox my body, because it's going to help rebuild my nerves, is what it's going to do, because I have no filter. The filter can come back. I've just got to reset my body. So this and I'm just going to quickly say the C60 has a slight positive 2+2 charge that attracts negatively charged oxidative free radicals and neutralizes them. So it's doing kind of also more of what the distilled water is doing, but this is going to take it a step further than that. Yeah, so it basically regrows your body. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to post links to all of this. The next thing that she suggested is go to rnareset.com and order liquid magnesium. And the magnesium helps calm your nerves, because I've been wide open for everything. Every little thing that I see, I'm just like, I have no filter for it. And I'm like, oh God, what did that mean? What did that mean? It just goes through, and I'm like, oh my God, going crazy. Really, it's been a really rough 3 years for me. But so I'm on rnareset.com. She did suggest the liquid magnesium, but they have it's called the Dr. Dean's Total Body Reset, and it's $300. But I'm going to order it. I'm not going to do it every month, but I'm going to eventually, here in the next couple of months, I am going to order it, and I'm going to do it at least 1 month with all of the minerals and vitamins and stuff. So I suggest that that if you, and she's also suggested to start playing with crystals, so that's why I bought this little guy right here. It's a rose quartz. It's supposed to heal the heart, so I'm like, oh, okay, let's do that. Yeah, so and also one of the biggest parts of it is the emotional clearing. Because what I was doing when I did the drugs, when I turned to that drug and the alcohol and the cigarettes and everything that I've been doing, is because I've been in so much pain. This is a difficult place to live. And if you're in a lot of pain and you don't know what to do, you got to do the emotional clearing. You got to take care of that pain, and it lifts off like layers. And what I use for my emotional clearing, and what I recommend, is the formula of compassion. And it literally changes your DNA from carbon to crystalline. Every single time you clear an issue, a little bit more of it changes. And it makes you literally lighter. And I can tell a difference right here. I mean, it just feels wonderful every time I've cleared an issue, and I'd say almost halfway done with my past issues. So I feel better about that. But that's what she suggested. And that's what I suggest with you. And I do want to, this last little part of this video, and thank you for sticking with me through this. Okay, I have a little story that I want to share. That after my session with Ayla, I was so depressed. Like, I was talking to my friend and I was like, I just can't believe that I allowed myself to do so much meth, so much damage to my brain, to myself, to my soul, you know. And Ayla even mentioned that she believes that you know, because of the way that it started when I was 14, that she believes that I was meant, that it was in my life blueprint, that I would get addicted to meth. And the thing that would happen, the brutal awakening would happen to me in such a way that it would compel me to do what I'm doing right now. And I was talking to my friend, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I did that. And I was almost in tears. And he actually said something to the effect of, well, you know, you just got to find the silver lining. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's what Ayla said. Just, you know, try and help other people. Help. And that's, you know, where I'm at now. So I'm just taking y'all on this journey. But so I was just so numb. I abandoned my inner child. When you do that, you're abandoning that little boy or girl inside you and saying, I'm not going to take care of you. I'm just going to go do this or that. So find the silver lining. And so when I woke up that next morning, I had a song stuck in my head. Like, before I even opened my eyes, I had Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars in my head. And it was that part that said, Uptown Funk you up, Uptown Funk you up. And it just kept playing over and over, and I was like, what does that mean? And then it clicked. I was like, oh shit. The guide pointed to his head. I burned out all my receptors. Uptown, from being high on the meth, funked me up. And I was like, I get it. Okay, I get it. And then right after that, I decided to skip the coffee. I was like, I'd rather just, and I went to look for this detox tea. And I couldn't find the tea that I was going to get. And I went and I got this thing of tea. I went and opened this box of tea bags that had been sitting there. And they had been there for a year, and the reason I had them is because it was the last time I relapsed. A year and a month ago, I relapsed, and I was digging through one of my, not friend anymore, but I was digging through some of his kitchen stuff, and I saw these tea bags, and I was like, ooh, I want some of these. And he's like, oh, take as many as you want. And so I took them, and I never used one of them. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll try one. Well, I was sitting there letting my tea steep, and I was thinking about everything with the meth and the song, the Uptown Funk thing. And I was feeling very emotional, and I noticed the little message that was on the tea thing, the tea little paper thing, and it was this. And I'm going to put this up here. I know this isn't very professional to do this, but I don't really care. One thorn of experience is worth a whole wilderness. Is that what that says? Of warning. By James Russell Lowell. And I saw that, and I started bawling. I did, and it was so amazing to get that message, because sometimes whenever you just know that a message is for you. And then I looked down at something else that was right in front of me, some paper that my mom had there or whatever, and it had 3333 on it. And I was just like, man, come on. So that is my story, and I hope that it helps you guys. I'm going to do all of these things that I mentioned. I know a lot of you out there, if you've been down this road, you probably don't have much money, but just do what you can. The liquid magnesium is like $34 by itself. You can just do that. The C60 for the smallest bottle is $97. But you could do the distilled water. There's 88 cents at Walmart for a jug of distilled water, and just start there. Baby steps. I got this crystal for $16 at the herb store. Just do what you can and just take your time. Don't rush yourself. Don't, just know that you are special, and you can heal from meth madness. So, okay, that's all I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all have a good one.